I was reading recently that in the Beltway, that more political folks are almost embarrassed by House of Cards and actually like Veep, and I think Veep is almost more real in some strange way.
Well, the Washington of Veep is one where basically nothing gets done.
Right.
Because everyone is either stupid, incompetent, or just like so craven and self-interested that they don't actually believe in anything. So it's sort of interesting that like that's the one that the Washington insiders have latched onto. I can see from based on what our government's been doing for the last few years that maybe they see some realism in that.
Right.
But whereas, on House of Cards, Frank, whatever he wants, he gets, because everyone they put up, he's a genius, and everyone else he goes up against, he's really, really stupid.
Right.
There's a few times this season where it's like the president of the United States has finally figured out that Frank is up to no good. He's like, I'm putting my foot down, Frank, enough of this. And then 5 seconds later, okay, I'll give you one more chance if you promise he won't do it again.
Right. This idea of binge watching and people, taking to Twitter and celebrating binge watching.
Yeah.
The fundamental art of watching a show has changed dramatically.
It's really different. I remember the weekend that House of Cards premiered last year. And, obviously on Twitter I follow a lot of other TV critics and people in media, so my feed is not necessarily going to look like your feed, but my feed was full of people saying, I'm up to episode 7, who can top that? It became this competition. And it was just, people were racing through it, and it was almost like the quality of the show was secondary to just the fact that I can see it all now. It's the first Netflix show. This is a big deal because I've learned to start binging shows on Netflix, and this is the first show, in theory, designed to be binged that way, although I actually think it's not. There's other shows that are better binges than House of Cards are. Like, House of Cards is better if you watch it on a more traditional schedule, but it is a new way of viewing, and I think sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's not so great, and you lose the conversation because if I've watched 9 episodes of House of Cards and you've watched 2, we can't talk about it. Whereas if it's airing on AMC Weekly, you can have that discussion. So that's a thing that's still being figured out.
All right, we'll take some questions now.
Do you see the potential for a real political drama based on the Obama administration in the future?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting thing because obviously there's been a lot of drama and a lot of tension and a lot of things have gone on in this administration over the last 5 years. Someone could make it. The question is, does somebody want to make it? Because it's, the narrative from the left a lot of the time, and the left is largely who is writing for Hollywood, is that it's been something of a disappointing presidency. And I don't know that somebody wants to then tell that story as a dramatic thing. I hear all the time that SNL goes too easy on him because they don't want to make fun of his politics or whatever. And I think that's kind of missing the point of what SNL does for political satire, which is, if you go all the way back to even Gerald Ford, they don't make fun of policy. They pick a personality trait of a president, and that's what they make fun of. So Gerald Ford is a klutz. Jimmy Carter's too smart. Ronald Reagan's too old. Bill Clinton's a horn dog. George Bush is stupid. And it's so all of the satire is about that. It's not about what they're actually doing as president. And with Obama, they just haven't been able to find anything, and they've struggled. And I think sort of as a personality, he definitely doesn't have quite that easy defining trait that a lot of the others do. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody did it. I think you would need more time removed, maybe 10 years from now before somebody really took a shot at it.